Hello and welcome to BOI Weekly. I'm Kaya De Alayode. Bread is a major staple meal, not just here in Nigeria, but across the globe. It's one of the world's oldest meals. Even though bread consumption in Nigeria is quite high, with bakeries at almost every turn, the business is still looking good for anyone who wants to explore the enterprise. Our population is obviously an advantage here, and the opportunities appear endless. This seems to be a reasonable justification for the Bank of Industry, which continues to support micro, small, medium and large bakeries, as well as master bakers across the country. Today we visit one of such bakeries in Abuja, the nation's capital. Stay close.
The agricultural sector due to limited processing and preservation capacity. This results in high food prices and food importation, with its attendant effects on the nation's foreign reserves. To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
Bread is one unique food item that reaches far beyond borders. It stands in a class all by itself. It's fairly affordable and, interestingly, many people feel a personal sense of attachment towards it. Julia Child, an American chef, author and TV personality, once said, "How can a nation be called great if its bread tastes like Kleenex?" With several billions of bread lovers all over the world, the economic importance of bread is not lost on the Bank of Industry. BOI is always eager to support serious-minded entrepreneurs in the bread-making subsector because of its potential to feed many and provide jobs. And here, BOI has supported another bread-making business, this time in Abuja, the nation's capital. Mrs. Oluchukwu Ohaka is the MD CEO of the shop Global Services Limited, starting out barely 2 years ago as a supermarket. The shop soon began baking pastries in small quantities, and then the Bank of Industry came along. Mrs. Ohaka speaks of how the Bank of Industry has helped the shop increase production volume such that they can now compete favorably and distribute bread across several locations in Abuja and the Middle Belt region.
We bake family loaf, which is the regular premium bread that people call family loaf, and we also bake coconut bread. Then we also have our small loaves we tend to use to reach to the common man. Those in the market pushing barrow and all that, you don't have money to buy big, you can buy a bread of 50 naira, and it's quite tasty, and you can enjoy it with a bottle of drink or water as the person pleases.
Which of these is your bestseller?
Actually, I won't really say anyone is the bestseller right now because they are all selling. I started last year with family loaf and it was selling. Then I decided to add another of our approved product, which is the coconut bread, this year, like a month now, and the patronage is so high, and actually they are all selling. They are all selling. The micro loaf is just 1 week old, so it's also selling. I can't say it's selling more than others because it's selling as well as others are selling, so they are all selling.
Tell me about the BOI intervention. When and how did it start?
Okay, it started when I was doing with one bag. I intended it to be small, and when the patronage started coming, I found out that we're not able to meet the demand with just one bag oven, and it was a challenge. So my bakers will stress themselves out to bake like 6 bags in the morning and another 6 in the evening, which is what I could have done using the same time for like 20-30 bags. And so we actually looked for help, and Bank of Industry came to our aid and we're able to get a bigger oven. Right now, the oven takes 4 bags at once. So even if we have like 20 or 30 bags in a day, it won't take my bakers up to 10 hours to finish. So when they come to work in the morning, they've even stopped running the shift because of the volume, the oven and other machines they give to us. Like we have the 2 bags mixer, we can mix 2 at once, and then using one to be mixing with the old ones we have. So we put in all these resources together is really giving us a high speed in production, more than what we had before.
Abuja is a major city center, and in terms of bread consumption, it's a saturated market. What is your own strategy, or what strategy did you adopt to ensure that you engage that market and you stay profitable?
Well, I'll say I started with my own tastes. It's different from others. And then when it was a little difficult to sell, sometimes I feel like giving up. My phone will ring, customers will call because my number is on the label. They will say, "Madam, we love your bread, please keep it up, don't stop." And that gave me courage. So I kept on pushing on. And within a short time, places that it was not being sold that much, where places we were selling like 5, 10, started taking like 20, 50, and like that. We started venturing into other states. Like right now, my bread is being sold in Makurdi, Boko, Lokoja, Jos, and other locations we are also planning to go into, not just Abuja. So we bake for all those locations. And our bread has been known for consistency. Even when some of the materials increased money, we focused on quality. And then people just know our bread. Anywhere they see it, they know that this is the shop. It stands out from the crowd. So that way, the challenge was there, but because we continued and were consistent, people just know that if you're going for that shop, this is what you're going to get, and nothing short of it. So people just, with time, they switched and sales increased. And then we are now able to, because some of the challenges is that people complain that they will see us today, they will not see us tomorrow because the oven we're using was giving us problem. But now that we have a bigger oven, we are able to meet the demand, and they are always seeing my marketers constantly. I have actually about 8 vans. 1 for bringing in of raw materials from my suppliers I go to carry, and then 7 for distribution. And they kept on seeing my workers, my marketers on a daily basis. And then if you see the person today, see the person tomorrow, and you bought 2 today and you finished it, so if you come tomorrow, they take 3, they take 4. And like that, we have really, really stayed the test of time, and I'm happy we did.
What equipment or what set of equipment did the Bank of Industry fund?
The oven that takes like 4 bags at once, macadam's oven I told you about, and they gave me mixer also 2 bags. I had 1. So I can now mix 3 bags at the same time. The one they gave me is mixing 2, and another one is mixing 1. They also gave me a dough divider. I was using hand. They'll use knife and cut and scale until they keep putting, before they will now finish with one dough. It takes time. And so that was cumbersome. But now, with the dough divider, all we do is measure a quantity and put and press. It gives us the number we want as once and also roll. They also give me the roller. When they were rolling with hand, it was difficult. For you to do one dough and roll and press and then compress and then give it that shape, it takes time. So with the roller, we'll just cut with the dough divider, we'll throw in, and it's rolling out. It helps me to do more. And also a slicer. Also gave me a slicer. The one I had one before, and it wasn't really giving me what I want. Sometimes it will not give us the number because you need to slice more. So now they give me 1 more, and then we can actually use 2 slicers at the same time.
Now, the BOI intervention, what level of capacity in terms of production did it give you?
Okay, before now, sometimes we struggle with 5 bags, 6, 7. But now, in a day, we do 20, 25, minimum 15. And the time, it doesn't even take us that much time because we always like our customers to have our bread fresh. That's why we don't produce more than that. So once the order comes, we'll give you a fresh bread. So if not, we would have been doing up to 30 if we're the type that bake and keep bread for a long time before we push out. So we bake according to order. And most times our order is not less than 15, 20 bags. And then we just bake it that day, and it goes out that day because of the time he buys us to start in the morning. Before evening, the bread is ready. The person is getting it fresh at the kiosk or shop or in the town where we are supplying the distributor.
If you really didn't have to think about who's going to buy, what is your production capacity?
Because of the capacity I have now, I can do as much as 50 bags every day if there's no consign of people to buy. But like you know, bread is a perishable product and it's better enjoyed when it's fresh. So we like people to get our bread fresh. That's one of the things we get going for us. And when you supply it fresh, it gets finished from the shelf before the time that it will go bad, so that we don't have to record much damages, from the markets.
What determines how much you produce?
Like I said earlier, demand as in request from, because we have distributors and we have our vans, and there's a level that a van can carry at once. There are bigger vans. If I had a bigger van, like my driver going to Makurdi goes with my Sienna that can carry 650. When he carries 700, the bread begins to press, and customers don't like to buy bread that is deformed. So that if I had a van that can carry like 4,000, he goes from Makurdi to Boko, go around that axis and finish it before coming back. So you will not get to go to Makurdi, come back, carry and go to Boko and all that. So some of those things are the constraints we have that is making us not to produce as much as we would have loved to.
Give me a sense of the level of competition that you're up against.
Wow, the competition is stiff. Why do I say that? A bakery, first of all, for it to run, there's a production cost that has to do with your building, the workers, the diesel and maintenance, lights and all that. And so there's a number that you have to produce minimum a day to be able to help you make profits. If you produce below that, there is nothing you do that you can make profit. And if you try to make profit, your price gets so high. So because we started new, it was really not easy. And those ones can sell a bread at 300 to be sold at 350, for instance. And our own costs will land us to 290, 295. And we'll still get to sell 300 to be able to meet up with them. And then we're not getting the volume that will say if you're making 5 naira, the volume can give you the much needed profit to be able to sustain you. So the competition is really stiff with the big ones. But another one, I come in again, the help of the back of industry to even be able to have the capacity to produce. Let it be left for the demand. Then we're able to meet up a little bit to compete with them because they've been there, they have the name. Like I said, people that don't know our product, they hardly come to pick it from the shelf unless somebody just likes the design or wants to try something new. But I bet you that the ones that are buying from us are those that tried it once.
The agricultural sector due to limited processing and preservation capacity. This results in high food prices and food importation with its attendant effects on the nation's foreign reserves. To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
In your own case, what is your minimum production level?
I need to produce minimum 15 bags a day to be able to make profits.
Has this enterprise been profitable?
It is. I would say it is profitable.
So in what ways did the BOI intervention impact your business? For instance, you told me about how you started manually. You had to do most things by hand. And then the Bank of Industry came in with that intervention. What's the impact of that intervention, for instance, in the number of people who now work for you?
Now, we're not even going outside Abuja. We're only in Abuja then. And then we had like 8 workers in the bakery and 4 drivers to go just around the town. But after we were able to get the loan, we were able to increase our capacity. And then we increasing in capacity, we need more hands, because even if machine is cutting, you're not cutting with hand again, you still need people to feed the machine and all that. And so our production increased, and then we increased even marketers. We got more drivers that will now be going outside Abuja. And when they get to outside that Abuja, they have people there. Each person has one person in that state that will join in the distribution. So we now basically not just only create job here, even in our head office here in Abuja, in outside locations, places like Jos, Makurdi, we have workers also there that are also helping in the distribution. So we basically increased our labor to like 24 as against 8 that we had before the intervention came in.
I'd like to know, what's the most important success factor in bakery business?
I'll go for the taste of your bread. If your bread is good and the taste is consistent, people will keep buying. And when you're sure you're selling, of course, production will also follow. Because the most important thing in baking is, do you have the market to give it out to at any time you bake it? If you don't have the market, you bake it and it gets spoiled because it's a perishable product. So the most important thing is the consistency in taste and availability. Those are the 2 selling points for me in baking.
What's the most frustrating part of the bakery business?
Having to manage the workers, human management. It's not really as easy as people think. For instance, you go give instruction. If somebody wants to buy bread of, say, 500, and they say, I want 300 on slice, 200 slice. You give instruction, you come back, they pack 400 on slice, 100 slice. The customer say, I'm not buying, and there's no time, I'm not waiting. The person gets angry and walks away. What do you do with that bread? You are left with bread that you don't even have where to push it in at that moment. You begin to scout for how to sell it off so that you don't have issue. And then you have to produce for the person the specification the person wants. Because when somebody said, I don't want slice, and you slice, the person will tell you, my customers don't take it. 1. 2, the workers, when they make mistake, they want to cover it up by making you lose money, you know. And then all those work managing human being, sometimes people don't come to work and they will not even call. You just come, who is supposed to do a particular thing? Because in the bakery, you have mixers, you have slicers, you have bakers proper, you have different sections and different people trained for it. And when a person in a particular section doesn't come, it tends to affect other sections unless you have a backup to take up that role for that day. And then, so most of these things, and another part again, the drivers. Driver goes out and comes in and tells you he went to a place to look like Makurdi with 20-something thousand naira worth of fuel, when you know it's not possible. But what will you do? Is your words against his? So you just have to look for a way to deal with it and stop that loophole, because those are the loopholes that make us not to make the profit supposedly we are supposed to have made.
How did you hear about BOI?
Well, I tuned into channels one day in the night, and I saw a Bank of Industry financing businesses and all that. And so I actually went online to make inquiry on what it takes and how it goes and where actually is the office, because I knew I needed help. And when I tried to approach some individuals and some organizations, it wasn't easy. They'll ask for big collaterals, which I didn't have at the moment. So I went to Bank of Industry and I started the process. And it wasn't as hard as I thought. They came, investigated, and saw that what I have on ground and my demands. And I was granted the loan, and I was able to get the equipment and even added another building to what I had before. And here we are.
Tell me about the structure of the loan you got from the Bank of Industry.
The repayment plan is so much good that my business doesn't have to suffer paying back, because I have time to pay back. They gave me 36 months repayment plan, and out of which 6 months is moratorium period where I get to pay only the interest. And then after the 6 months, and I begin to pay interest and principal so that I'm not under pressure to pay back. The business can actually pay back the loan.
How easy or otherwise was it for you to get that loan from the Bank of Industry? I would like you to run me through the process you had to go through to get that loan.
Not difficult, just did the normal processes, and they came to do background checks, and they required for documents which I submitted, and which are documents that we already have, like our tax, history, or just the normal necessaries that the company should have ordinarily. And so I submitted, and within a short while, I was able to get the loan. It wasn't that stressful, it was just the normal process, because every bank has a process. We just passed the normal process, and it wasn't a long time. We were able to receive the disbursement, and we got the machine.
Now, we hear people say it's really difficult getting loans from the Bank of Industry. What would you say to such people?
Well, I will note first that the person has problems with their record keeping, like the necessary things they do. Like, sorry to say, some companies don't pay their tax. So going through, before you do that, the owners of the business, going through getting their tax clearance and all those ones makes it look like it's cumbersome for them. But if you're already on the right path, doing the right thing, I don't think it takes much time to do it the proper way and then get the money disbursed. Of course, they won't get to disburse money to people or companies they've not seen the viability of what they are doing. And it now looks like it takes time, but it doesn't in the actual sense.
Aside from the money you got from the Bank of Industry, what other important lesson or benefits did you get from your interaction with the Bank of Industry?
Besides the money they gave me to help my business, in the machine, buying those equipments for me, also telling their workers about us, and some people had come to my office saying that we want to buy this because my colleague in the office told me about your product, those that ate it. Also, most importantly, we have, because of the Bank of Industry and the processes we went through, we're able to take note of some irregularities, I would say, that we're not aware that they meant anything, even at CAC level, putting our documents right, knowing what to do and not to be on the wrong path, because we're just doing normal, you start business, you just register it and you just start selling, buying and selling and producing. But when we had to work with a structured organization like BOI, we had to get some things in order to be able to get the loan or get the facility. And that has also taught us some things that the processes that were not right, that has been regularized by the coming into our business by BOI. So I say basically those are the 3 things I enjoyed from them: putting my books right and knowing what to do at the right time and the right way to structure my process, my business and all that. And also the buying of introducing people to come patronize us. And the big one, the equipment that helped me increase my production so that I can sell as much as I'm able to get the market. No more limitation on production anymore. It's just left for us to create the market, and the production can keep rolling in.
The agricultural sector due to limited processing and preservation capacity. This results in high food prices and food importation, with its attendant effects on the nation's foreign reserves. To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
And just like our guest on the program today has said, getting the Bank of Industry's loan is not complicated at all once you get the necessary documentation right. And that is pretty easy. For more on how to secure the Bank of Industry's intervention, visit any of their branches closest to you. Otherwise, log on to their website at boi.ng. You can also apply for loans online. Download the BOI SME Loan app from the Google Play Store and follow the instructions. Feel free to tweet at me at KAY Alayode. Previous editions of the show are all available on youtube.com. All you've got to do is type BOI Weekly in the search area. That's a wrap on the show for today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Kayode Alayode. Bye now.